Hey, hello, my fellow property managers. Mark Cunningham with Grace Management. Now, hold on. I know you're ready to turn off the video already. You're like, Mark, I know how to do a security deposit return, buddy. They're not that hard. This is a little too basic. I think I'll wait for the video to drop in the next 2 weeks, but don't do that. We're recording this video here in the first week of February 2024. And just a few weeks ago, the state of Colorado Attorney General came out and announced in a press conference that they had reached a $1 million settlement with a Colorado property management company. In the basic content, and I'm holding the 17-page agreement from the district in the state of Colorado. The basic premise was that the property management company had been wrongfully charging and withholding money from the tenant's security deposit. Now, when you looked at their deposit returns, there was nothing that would initially you would look at and say, oh, this is so wrong. But they were doing things that were wrong. And I think as property managers, we have an obligation, morally, legally, to ensure that we're properly returning and or withholding the proper money from a tenant's security deposit. So let me give you some best practices around that. I could have also just named this top mistakes property managers make when they're doing security deposit returns. That way, by the way, if you listen to our podcast, the Property Management Business Podcast, we're going to do a full podcast where we share all of the information out of this to help property managers ensure that they're doing it properly. And we get a lot of tenants and residents that watch these videos. And on this one, I hope you're watching because we're going to make sure that you get what is rightfully yours back in the form of your security deposit return. And your property management company doesn't illegally or unethically or wrongfully withhold money or charge money to your deposit. So here we go, property management. I'm gonna give you 6 things to make sure you do or don't do when you're doing a security deposit return. Number 1, this doesn't directly correlate with charges, but don't involve your owner's opinion, the property owner's opinion or the property owner's approval for you to return the deposit to the tenant. This is not an opinion thing. What you don't want to do is walk the property with the property owner. You as the property manager, you walk with the owner and say, well, gosh, Mr. Owner, what do you think we should charge for that nail hole in the wall there? What do you think? The property owner says, yeah, tell you what, let's recharge him for repainting this whole wall. And you say, oh, okay. And then you say, do the carpets look clean enough to you? And the owner says, no, not only charge him for cleaning, let's charge him for the full replacement. You think, gosh, I don't know if I can do that, but I guess they're the owner. They're going to tell me to do it. The owner doesn't know. They don't know your state law. They don't know federal laws, and there aren't really federal laws governing this, but some of it ties in that way. They don't understand those things. This is your job as the expert. You tell the owner, Mr. Owner, here is what we can legally withhold from the tenant's deposit, taking into consideration some of the things I'm about to tell you about. It's not a conversation. It's not an opinion. It's not a debate. It should be pretty clear and straightforward on what you're going to be allowed to charge to a tenant's deposit and what you're not. So stop asking for your owner's permission or asking their opinion on charges because they don't know. You know you're the expert. Number 2, have very clear expectations for your tenant resident upon the move out. When they give you a notice to vacate and they say they're moving, you should give them a documented page, link, whatever you want to give them, that says, okay, we want to help you get your deposit back. In order to return it to you, here are the things you need to do. And then have a checklist for things that they need to have cleaned, things that they need to touch up, paint on, whatever you want them to do. Help them get their deposit back. Don't hinder them. Make it easy for them to get it back, but you got to tell them because sometimes they don't know. Are they supposed to clean the carpets? If your lease says it, then they're supposed to, but you need to point that out. Hey, per the terms of your lease, you got to have the carpets professionally cleaned just like they were when you move in. Oh, okay. Tell them those things. Hey, if you don't give all the keys back, there could be a charge, so make sure you give us all the keys back. Help them on the front end. Tell them the expectations you have. Number 3, this is a big one. Don't confuse wear and tear with damage. Oh, there was so much in this suit about this, about the property manager looking at something and saying that's damage, and then the law saying that's not damage, that's wear and tear. So let me give you a question for your consideration. If there are tack holes in the walls where the tenants hung pictures, should that be considered wear and tear, or is that damage? You say, well, of course it's damage, Mark. It's a hole in the wall. No, not so fast. Not so fast, my friends. Did you know that HUD has guidelines on wear and tear versus damage, down to the size of the tack hole versus nail hole versus bolt hole in the wall? If it's a fist through the wall, yeah, that's damage. If it's a hole to hang a picture, that's not damage, my friends. That's wear and tear. Same thing with scuffs on a wall. If there's a big scuff on a wall, is that wear and tear or damage? Well, if there was a couch up against that, that's typically considered wear and tear. What if there's a scuff on the flooring? That could be considered wear and tear as well. You need to have a clear distinguishing explanation of wear and tear versus damage. Now, if you don't have that, I'll put a link. On our website, we have a page on our website where we give to our tenants and our owners. That's this. It defines what wear and tear versus damage is. Clarity is the key to this whole thing. It shouldn't be very opinionated. It should be very, very straightforward and clear. The information that we put on our doc, we've pulled right off of HUD. So this is what HUD's guidelines are. HUD will tell you what wear and tear versus damage are. Like I say, I'll put a link. You can see how we have that structured on our site. Number 4. This sounds self-explanatory, but I feel silly saying it, but some property management companies do this, and they do it illegally. Don't charge for fees or items that you don't disclose in your lease. One of the things that this company was doing is they would charge a property turn fee or a turnover fee to the tenants because they had to spend effort and time and energy to turn the property over. Well, I understand that they spend time and energy and effort turning the property over, but you can't just charge the tenant security deposit something that wasn't disclosed in your lease agreement. You can't say, well, gosh, I've been here for half an hour walking this property. I'm going to charge them an inspection fee of $45. You can't make this stuff up, my friends. If it's in your lease that you specifically state, hey, you're going to be charged for carpet cleaning, then you could do that. But it's got to be disclosed on the front end in the lease agreement. You can't make stuff up and charge them to the tenant's security deposit. That includes things like rekeying. It includes things like maybe overboard cleaning fees that should be considered wear and tear that you're charging as damage. You got to be so cautious on this stuff. Now, before I tell you about the next one, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Second Nature. The best way not to have to deal with anything I'm talking about here is to have your tenants stay in the property. We don't like people to move out because then we've got a vacant property and we've got to fix it up and we've got to market it and we've got to find a new tenant. It's a lot of work. We would much rather keep our tenants happy and have them renew the lease for another term. But in order to keep them happy, we got to take care of them. We got to take care of the property. We got to fix things when they break. And another thing that you can do to help your tenants stay happy and stay in your properties is offer them a resident benefit package. Give them amenities, give them benefits that they don't get if they go rent from Mr. Joe Smith landlord down the street. They get them from you. Now, these are benefits that are costing you some money, so it's not uncommon to have an expense back billed to the tenants, but they get more than they pay. That's the idea, a resident benefit package. Second Nature can administer this whole thing for you. So if you're a property manager, jump on their website, reach out to them at Second Nature, tell them Mark sent you, ask them about their resident benefit package, how it can help you retain tenants better, reduces turnover, and helps your tenant at the same time. All right, number 5, this is just a random throw in there because I see property managers forgetting this all the time. When you're just rushing through that security deposit return, don't forget to check the final water bill on the property. We know that many utilities are billed in arrears on properties. We don't get them for 30 days, so you may have to pick up the phone the old-fashioned way, call the water company and find out what the water bill was, and then charge that to the tenant's deposit if that's appropriate. So just don't forget that. And then last one, probably most importantly, is this. Take life expectancy of items into consideration. Did you know things like carpet, things like paint, things like blinds have a life expectancy? Once that life expectancy has been exceeded, or if it's in the middle of the life expectancy term, you have to take that into consideration if you're charging for an item on the tenant's security deposit. Here's what I mean by this. HUD has guidelines. Now, if we have a doc that we share, you can Google this, you can look on HUD stuff. By the way, if you're a member of our PM video coaching group, and you should be, we've sent this out to you in the past. If you lost it, let me know and I'll resend you ours. We've got life expectancy on basically every item in a property. So if you want that, join our PM video coaching group. We'll be sure to send that out to you as well. But things like carpet and paint are the most common. So let's pretend, for an example, tenant moves into a property. The carpet is brand new, like brand new, perfect and beautiful. That tenant lives in the property for 10 years. And then they move. You walk the property at the end of the 10 years and the carpet is trashed. Not only is it worn, they spilled paint and oil and grease and food stains. There's even burns in the carpet, all over the carpet. And you say, this carpet is damaged. So let me ask you, is the carpet damaged? Yes, the carpet is damaged. And you think, well, I'm going to charge them for this. Well, hold on a minute. Hold on. Did you know that HUD says the life expectancy of carpets, and it depends on the type of property. This is a recommendation, not a hard number that HUD gives out there. It's kind of guidelines. It's going to be somewhere around 5-7 years max on carpet. This tenant was there 10 years. They damaged the carpet. Can you charge them for the damage to the carpet? Shake your heads no with me. No, you may not. Why? You say, well, Mark, they damaged it. Yes, they did, but the life expectancy has been exceeded, so it doesn't matter. The cost of replacement is borne by the landlord in that case. But they damaged the carpet. Doesn't matter. The life expectancy has been exceeded. And I know some property managers just can't wrap their head around this, but it's the truth, it's the right thing to do, and it's the law. It's the same thing with paint. If there's scuff marks all over the wall and the life of the paint has been exceeded, and life of paint in properties is typically like 5 years, that's all it typically is. You can't charge them for it. You can't do that. Now, if there's a hole in the wall, yes, you could charge for things that are straightforward damage. Now, we can talk a lot more about this, and we'll try to hit this on a future podcast. If you're not listening to our podcast, jump on there, the Property Management Business Podcast. We'll cover this in detail to help you stay out of trouble. Make sure you're getting this done right for the benefit of your company, for the benefit of your tenants, for the benefit of your owners. How can we help you, my friends? Jump on our website, pmbuild.com, see where we're going to be. We've got several live events coming up in the coming months. I'd love to see you out there. Look at our forms packages, our training on our system manuals. We've just about fully updated our system manuals for 2024. Jump on there, download free samples of those. But until next time, as always, my friends, I wish you success.